What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back. Today I'm talking to all my first-time homebuyers looking to purchase a home within the next 6 to 12 months, but just really don't know where to start as far as the home buying process is concerned. So today we're actually going to be talking about the top 3 things first-time homebuyers need to know, they must know, in order to qualify for a home. So make sure you stay tuned and watch it all the way to the end. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you're liking the content. Let's get started. All right, so before we get into the content, I have something for you. I have compiled a list of the top 10 homebuyer programs for you to download for your personal use, right? So you can find that link in the description. So go ahead and look in the description. It's a list of the top 10 homebuyer programs that me, myself, and my team are actually using for our clients and actually guiding them to home ownership and helping them achieve their goal of home ownership. So go ahead and download that list. You'll find the link in the description. All right, so let's get right into it. First thing that I want to talk about that first-time home buyers must know is about credit. Credit is super huge and super important, okay? Credit is like your report card in a sense, but in adulthood, right? I guess that's a pretty good comparison. Your credit report is your report card in adulthood. Reason I say that is the way that investors look at risk is based on your credit score and the data on your credit report. The reason that investors look at your credit is because they're lending their money. So think about it. If you were an investor, you would want to do your due diligence and do your homework on the people that you're actually lending your money to. You're going to want to make sure that you're going to get the return back, your funds back, plus more, right? Your profit, your investment, because you're an investor. So the reason that investors actually look at your credit report is because they're looking at risk. And the higher your credit score is, the less risk that investors see you as, right? Versus the lower your credit score is, the more risk they see, right? And that's going to determine interest rates. So that's why credit is super important and huge in regards to home ownership and going through the home buying process. The second thing that I want to go over that first-time home buyers must know is about job history, right? Job history. So basically, when going through the home buying process, typically lenders want to see at least 2 years of consistent job history, right? But here's the thing, I get a lot of questions like, hey, Marcus, I have, I've been working like 10, 15 years, right, consistently with no lapses. But I just started this new job 6 months ago. Am I still going to be able to move forward in the home buying process? And the question that I ask them is, what industry are you in? So let's just say healthcare for an example, right? You switched companies 6 months ago, you got a new job in healthcare. But the thing is, if you have been working in healthcare prior to the 6 months, and let's say you've been at your job, the previous job, 5+ years, that's perfectly fine. So as long as you're still in the same industry, then that will work, right? So that's why job history is super important, because the way that investors look at it is they're going to want to see a continuous work cycle, making sure that you have a reliable income coming in, because that's going to be an important factor when they're lending out their money. And so that's why they want to see you have at least consistent job history. And if it's not consistently at the same job, they want to see you consistently in the same industry, so that they have, it's kind of like there's no red flags. But if you have, let's say, you started a job, you were working at a job for a year, and then you completely switched industries and you worked there for 6 months, and then you got a new job in a different industry, those are red flags, right? Because that shows inconsistency. But whenever you have consistent job history and it's in the same industry, then that shows consistency, and that will help you in qualifying for your home. All right, so the third thing that I want to go over that first-time homebuyers must know is your DTI, also known as debt to income ratio. The reason debt to income ratio is super important when purchasing or trying to qualify for a home is because it's basically another risk factor that the lenders go through on their hierarchy of trying to qualify you for a home, right? Let's say you have a steady income of $10,000 a month that you bring in, right? Now, let's say you have $8,000 of debt going out each month where you have to pay, you're paying $8,000 for, let's say, car payments, student loans, credit card bills, personal loans that you have, right? They're going to look at you as a higher risk factor because your debt to income ratio is about 80% at that point, right? And so they're going to look at you as a higher risk factor. Whereas, let's say, you're bringing in $10,000 a month and you only have, $2,500 or $3,000 going out every month for bills, right? At that point, you'll be about 25 to 30% debt to income ratio, which is great. A good rule of thumb or a good number to try and aim for is about, you don't want to be no more than about 43, 45% on your debt to income ratio, because whenever you start getting into the 40s, mid 40s, high 40s, that's when programs are going to start, kind of getting cut out and you're going to have less options, right? So one thing that you can do whenever you're trying to qualify for a home, you can look at your debt to income ratio and see what debts are going out or what bills you're actually paying. So a good example is, let's say your credit cards, because you can easily pay those down. Let's say that you have a 50% debt to income ratio right now, but you're trying to get down to a 46% debt to income ratio. You can actually pay on your credit card or and try and get that percentage down, right? So remember, 45 to 43 to 45 is a good number to get to. And if you can get lower than 43 or 45, that's outstanding, right? It's super, super recommended in my opinion. Now, if you're wondering if you're wondering how to calculate your debt to income ratio, this is what you want to do. You want to take your total income, right? And whenever they're looking at your income, they're looking at your gross income, right? So the income you get before taxes. Let's say $10,000 for a good example. And then you're going to want to look at your debts that's going out, and you're going to want to figure out what percentage that is going out of your total income and your total debts, and see what your percentage is, right? And that'll give you a good baseline of where you are as far as your debt to income ratio, which is super, super important, guys, especially when trying to qualify for a home. So just to recap, first thing that I went over as far as top 3 things that first-time homebuyers must know when trying to qualify for a home is credit. Second thing is job history. Third is DTI, or also known as your debt to income ratio. So make sure you guys pay attention. Rewatch this video if you need to, okay? Also, guys, go ahead and check the resources tab in the description and check out our resources and see what might help you in your home buying process to help you qualify for a home. It's all there for you guys. So that's about it for this video. Guys, please remember, like and subscribe this channel. It'll really, really help the channel, and spread the word for those of you that are trying to purchase a home and want content on the home buying process. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next video.